Hey there, folks. I'm the Serious JG. Welcome back to my totally impressive sequence break, really original, innovative new approach to Mega Man 2, where I fought bosses out of the normal order. Other than Heatman's stage, which was kind of a disaster, I thought it went fairly well. The only Robot Master we have left to deal with is, well, I guess Metal Man's the one who's the most useful to take out first. But Bobo and I found Flash Man to be one of the easiest and weakest, and often took him out first. So we did I guess I could have intentionally avoided taking out Metal Man for as long as possible. Bubble Man would have become a pain in the ass, actually. Now that I think about it, unless he was immune to Airman, which I don't think he was, we could have used Airman against him for when he was floating up at the top of the screen. But, no, I don't remember him being difficult to beat even with Mega Buster, but I didn't have any lives in reserve, and I didn't feel like going back through the stage, so I beat him with his weakness. But other than saving Metal Man for last, not that he's the easiest Robot Master, but he's one of the ones whose weapons is most useful. The most sequence-breaking thing I could think of was to take on Flash Man, the easiest to beat last. So don't expect this to be a particularly challenging level. But you never know. Now that I said that, I might have just totally set myself up for massive failure. Let's find out together as we take out a final of Dr. Wily's original robot creations. Since in the last game, the Robot Masters were built by Dr. Light, or possibly Dr. Keynes, if you read the bizarre, totally wrong instructions that Bobo and I got as kids from the rental place. I suppose Dr. Wily maybe invented the copy robot that you fight in his fortress. The Yellow Devil, was that supposed to be an invention of Dr. Wily's? I don't know. But, the Mega Man 2 bosses are Dr. Wily's original robot creations. Last and least is Flash Man. I mean, he looks pretty cool. I mean, 8-bit graphics standards. It's kind of a neat design. He's got pretty awesome stage music, and he's got ice mechanics, even though his stage appears to be made of glass. So it's kind of a neat ambiance to his stage. This is the closest they can come to having like a maze approach, where there's multiple paths you can take. But it's not really a game that works around mazes. Those guys don't take too many. They're a pain in the butt. You tank the damage and keep going. It's fine. They don't do too much damage. The biggest irritation is that because of the ice mechanics, it's difficult to avoid their shots consistently. Now, we've got Crash Man weapon, we might as well use it, but if we didn't, we would just... Oh, I did have life in reserve. I could have died against Bubble Man. Oh well. Oh, it disappeared at just the right time anyway. Ah, see, and that's another thing that happens. You respawn them. So, I wonder what happens if you get to the top here. The answer is usually, yeah, some kind of reward. If it's possible to get there, but it's not the beaten path, you usually get a reward for it, like a 1-up. So the same thing applies here. If you have both Crash Man weapon and item 1, item 2 would probably work here as well, actually. You get to take a different path down, which will presumably give us power-ups of some sort. Maybe even an E-Tank. Worth its weight in gold at this point. When one is truly desperate in this game, you can like grind for E-Tanks, and then in the Wily stages, sometimes there's certain bosses that are just going to be a big pain in the butt unless you can recharge your hit points in the middle of the fight. So that allowed us to avoid this enemy. Whoopty shit. At this point, we could have come on this path, even with, without using the Crash Bomb. It would have been mildly difficult to set up. Oh, that was bull. That just sucked. We really needed those, that power-up for the Crash Bomber, too. Now that was some nice luck. How many? Yeah, I got like 2 1-ups out of that shit. Wow. Well, we just saw how difficult it is to actually use the weapon item 2 to do anything useful here. But I think we still found a decent path. Is that worth the trouble? Probably not. Oh, I didn't actually want to do that this time. I want to hurry up and get that before it goes away for my crash bombs, because I think... Damn it. Let's try Bubble Light against the next one, because I think there's more than one coming. Yeah, of course it doesn't work. If there's an E-tank up there, I might try to get up there. For 1-up, it's not worth it. There is an E-tank up there. How much more item 1 have I got? It was worth it. Yeah, it allows me to skip one more of these guys. So to avoid having him be a pain in the butt, I need to take him out anyway. Sort of. This is an easy area to accidentally spawn more than one of these guys, too, if you're not careful. Oh, great, I've got leftover Woodman weapon. Awesome. I don't think I need to be that stingy with my, Oh, metal blades don't work in you, huh? Interesting. Well, I'm not actually going to be able to defeat him without being at risk. Issue is I don't want to mistime my jump and not make it to the Wily door. So I'll use item 2. Yep, that's right, I did it. Now you're going to see Flashman in action. He's an interesting one because there's not... I don't remember him being that difficult. Matter of fact, I think I called him the easiest of them. But in fact, he's got a weapon where there's not a whole lot you can do about it to avoid taking damage. You just have to do damage faster than he does. Because he freezes time, and then what are you going to do? You're just going to get shot while you're frozen. Unless you're quite lucky and he does it when you're not vulnerable. Which can happen. And I would have beaten him if I'd used metal blades. Or had full hit points. Metal blades do more damage to him. Different Robot Master weapons do different levels of damage. I don't particularly feel like figuring out which ones are better. But, you know, since I showed you that, yeah, let's just see how fast this does it. Oh, quite fast, actually. So yeah, I mean, I think you guys saw that last time I would have beaten him with regular, you know, Mega Buster if I had gone in with full hit points. And particularly feel the need to prove I could do it. It's more interesting to see that metal blades, I'm sitting there letting him stand on me so I can keep pumping him full of metal blades, and you just crush him. So we will get Time Stopper and Item 3, both of which I need to remember to show off at some point in the Wily Castle, because I remember Time Stopper being quite useful in Quickman stage, and never anywhere else. So Item 3 is completed. Get your weapons ready. Item 3, I don't remember being useful anywhere. I think there's a couple of places in Wily's Castle where you're supposed to use it. There's really no place where you can use Item 3 where Item 1 wouldn't also work. It attaches itself to walls and allows you to... it climbs up the side of walls, and you can jump on it and ride up with it as it climbs walls. But since this is going up walls and Item 1 just floats up freely, there's like no point where item 3 will be useful to you, where item 1 wouldn't also have done the trick. So, there you go. We can check our password if I hit the right buttons, which I have not. This is not your ideal password, because of course your ideal password would be 9 lives and 4 E-tanks, which I think was all over Nintendo Power back in the day. I suddenly had this paranoia attack about whether I correctly saved the data, so let's save it again. And next time, folks, shit's gonna get real. Grouping out here. He flew into the eye of his own fortress. So, before we get going, because I'm calling it a video, and I'm also calling it a session, but, let's give you a taste of the very beginning of the stage. Yeah, these guys, as opposed to, like, 8 of those frickin' big eyes in a row. Promising to be a lot easier, and my recall of Wily Castle and Mega Man 2, a little bit longer as far as actually number of screens you traverse than the Wily Castle and Mega Man 1, but a fuck ton easier. Although the final boss can be a bit nasty, especially the first time you face it when you don't know its weakness. There's some challenge left to come, folks. Don't get me wrong. But I fully expect this to go a lot smoother than Mega Man 1 Wily Castle did. I do not expect to be falling back on save states. Let's make a bunch of promises now, JG, and see whether you can keep them. We'll start to see that next time, as we go into the Dr. Wily Fortress of Mega Man 2. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you then.